2027 proposed budget to order. Before we call the roll, Councilwoman Catherine Gill, can you please lead us in prayer and invocation?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to make a motion right here that we go into closed session pertaining to a personnel matter and conduct of elected official.
We can't do that. It's not on the agenda for special call meetings.
It does have to be advertised.
If it's not on the agenda, we can't. The attorney says we can never do it. I thought the statute said if every member was here, then it could be done. But either way, we'll have every member here, I understand.
Okay, well,
Not
it
gonna be
can't be done today. It'll be done.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Catherine Gill, can you please pray and pledge allegiance, please? Thank you. Thank you. I was thinking
Let us pray. Father God, it's in the matchless name of Jesus the Christ that we say thank you, God, for this day. We thank you, Lord, for life, health, and strength and the activity of our limbs, God. Father, we ask right now that you intervene on our behalf, God. Father, we dispatch angels to go forth and make all our crooked places straight, God. Father, we pray and ask that you will make our rough places smooth, Father. We ask that you will just bless our minds and hearts, God, that we will be receptive to your leading, God, of what this city needs, God. We ask that you bless each and every heart that's represented here tonight, God. Bless and keep us, Lord, that we will walk in the path that you have ordained for our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Councilwoman Gill. Wanted to welcome everybody here on tonight. We are here again for our review and discussion. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Ms. Jansen,
Present.
Mr. Martinez. Said she would be moved by Mr. Noel.
Here.
Mr. Seifer is not unable to be here tonight. Mr. Venable,
Here.
Mr. Davey,
Here.
Ms. Gill,
Here.
Ms. Walton.
Here. And we have a quorum. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. As council may recall at our last meeting, I think there was some desire to continue with a budget review and questions and answers. And so we opened it up to discussion.
All right, council, if you just could be acknowledged, so we can move on with discussions, if you have questions about the budget.
Mayor's,
Absolutely, go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So my desire this evening is to start over with the budget. From square one, department by department and line by line item. To see where we can make additional, budget cuts. To go towards our deficit, this year and years going forward. So it's my belief that we can make additional budget cuts, salary cuts, to the budget, and I like to start from scratch. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, you can go ahead and voice your concerns.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you. Good evening, Joey. If we could start with general IT. Okay, thank you. Starting with line item one, this is, general IT. Um, starting with salary, wages, and full-time for fiscal year 26 is 71,300. Requested for fiscal year 27, 67,800. And Joey, could you tell me for how many personnel that is, please?
Well, there is, no budget for salaries for the IT department.
There's no budget for salaries for the IT department.
If you look under manager recommended column,
Okay. Okay. On the. Information services. IT. Okay. So if I look on the manager recommended, that is 0. So could you explain to us how does that work with the manager recommended budget for salaries and wages for 0? Could you help me understand that?
well, we don't have a salary person in that, department budgeted for FY 27.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem, I think that service is outsourced, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, maybe that's more clear,
Okay.
but you wanna know what that cost
Okay.
is?
Yes,
Okay, there you
0, outsourced.
No, outsource, there should be a price.
Right, that, in lieu of a salary person in, department, the IT department, 10,450. IT services is outsourced to Cyberplex, technologies that's handling all of our IT, needs citywide.
Okay, and we pay them according to services rendered.
It is under contract for, an annual contract for a specified amount for those services, yes.
And when you say specified amount, is that just a general figure that is there yearly?
It is, it's for the contracted amount agreed upon between Cyberplex and the city of Henderson. The contract services line that expenses housing also takes care of other needs that, the city has as it is IT related.
Thank you.
Joey, is that public information? Can you share what that cost is, please?
Do you know that annual cost to the budgets?
Or the entire line.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 250,000 that's been budgeted for it. And part of that, I think, includes Harrison Two and Time Clock Plus. We'd have to go back and pull the contract to know the exact amount. But it's based on the number of users, user fee for that. And it is a renewable contract on an annual basis.
So it's 250,000 annually.
Probably a little bit less than that.
Yeah.
I think, Mayor Pro Tem, correct me if I'm wrong, is that what you're looking for? Okay.
Thank you
But
so
it's
much.
more than just me.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
We don't know the exact amount of the contract, but the 250,000 covers that contract, Time Clock Plus, and other IT related issues.
Thank you. The next department I would like to look over is city attorney. So we have the city attorney budgeted fiscal year, for this year at 49,953. And I see for fiscal year 27 to 65, and I was told about the $15,000 increase. But my question is he hired as a part-time or full-time? And I was trying to get clarity on that. And if we are making budget cuts, our past attorneys been part-time?
Well, it's really not classified as a part-time or full-time. That's a contracted amount for an annual service provided to the city.
Okay. And that's an annual service, and that is the increase is because, again, $15,000 increase on.
The comparison to last year's budget was one where the city attorney was split between city manager and city attorney. The 65,000 represents a full year of city attorney service.
Okay.
The last attorney was contracted at $4,000 a month. And that would be 60,000. I'm sorry,
1,000 a month, be 48,000 a year.
right, that's what it was. The last contract I signed was, it was 4,000 a month. And that total is how much, Mayor Pro Tem?
I said 48,000 times 12, 48,000. 4,000, right?
I don't have my paper, right?
Yeah.
So you said it was a 65?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so there is an increase because the full year budget line item for the last attorney was $4,000 per month.
Administration.
You may recall that, our previous city attorney was also the city manager. And so there was probably some cost savings there for having the two positions combined.
No, sir, Mr. Pell, I can tell you for a fact, I signed the contract, the contract was given to him prior to him becoming the city manager, and that contract was $4,000 a month because I signed it.
Okay.
And it had nothing to do with him being a manager at the time because he wasn't the manager.
Well, we put out for public consumption the position and received a number of replies, and the council picked Mr. Hartzog, and that was his fee.
Okay.
I know with, Mr. Edwards, when he was here, he was go by his time.
Right,
I'm not sure exactly how that worked out, but a little bit different.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
certain amount an hour.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
so, yes, ma'am. Are you done?
No, I have more, but she can interject.
I just wanted to ask, so is this the time to include the, Mr. Sullivan? Cause I'd be interested in knowing how much he's getting. He's on contract, so he should be in our budget somewhere.
Work for the city, works for Carl Lake Region.
He still gets paid by the city, am I correct, Taylor? He gets paid by contract,
On a
yeah.
regional contract.
Yes, he is being retained by Troy Regional Water.
Okay, so is that per meeting or is it a straight fee?
But he charges by the hour.
I would like to have a printout of, any and all transactions is up to date, attorney's fees for the last 12 months.
I'm sure we can make that available to.
Okay, and, thank you, you finished on,
Yes, ma'am.
need to continue?
You good?
Thank you. I see, travel, schools and meetings, or again, this may have already been answered. But we also, did he include that in his contract as well? Travel, schools and meetings? You have any idea?
Yes, that was all inclusive. There was no special breakout for them.
Thank you. Okay. Next department, administrative, downtown. Now, I do personally know that, and she travels a lot. But my question is on her particular travel, fiscal year 25. And again, this is a wish list, one person, 5,500. Questioning just her travel and schools and meetings for one person. You have budgeted next year 5,500. And it was 2,600 this year. Doubled it, plus 5.
Madam Mayor, hold on.
Was that a question?
Yes, sir, it was a question.
What was the question?
My question is, the increase in her travel. For the increase in her travel, we doubled it. It was a recommended, we doubled it, I'm sorry. For one person.
Well, as I stated in the recommended budget, all travel across the board has been eliminated for FY 27.
Okay,
With the understanding that we know that there are required trainings that various departments are a part of or required to take on. And those would be accommodated within each budget through other available funds available in other budget lines. If there is additional travel that's needed throughout the course of the year where available funds may have been exhausted, but it's required training, then at the end of the year, we'll do journal entries to handle those necessities as it was subtracted.
okay, sir, so basically then, all the travel on all these reports, are going to stay zero. If you were
Yeah.
to give them to us again.
Yeah, the budget expense report that you may be looking at, it looks like as you're looking at the budget matrix, refer to the expense report
Okay,
where it illustrates under the manager's recommended column
okay.
what has been cut.
No, I'm looking for something. If anyone else has a question. We got one man.
So, I guess my question is, how many times do, Miss Tracy travel? Miss Madigan, how many times does she have to travel per year? And what constitutes the difference in, required? I mean, I know that with the exception of the police and fire department, what constitutes the, travel? To make it a necessity?
For mandated, yes.
Madam Mayor, Council members. Main Street program requires downtown development directors to attend the the North Carolina Main Street Conference annually. It is required in order to keep accreditation. And we have to attend the annual directors meeting. We have 2 regional meetings that are not overnight that we go to. And occasionally some workshops that are regional, and that's the travel. If I may, one of the things that Main Street, as we're getting trained, as part of being on the board and everything, they encourage board members to give back to Main Street, to, have skin in the game. And I think Finance Director Buca can tell you, I've been going to these conferences, the regional meetings, the directors meetings for 5 years now. I've never turned in a travel expense, ever. I've paid it out of my pocket.
Thank you, Tracy Madden.
Thank
you. Yes, ma'am, go ahead, Miss Catherine.
I have a question on the salaries and wages, that amount, is that, how many employees is that?
There's, Ms. Madigan is the only employee in
Only
the company.
one employee. Okay. And, I guess, I'm not sure what is dues and subscriptions, that's. Because, and the reason I'm asking is because, the previous year, it was no amount there, but now we are looking at, putting $1,000 there. So what's the difference in last year and this year?
Dues and subscriptions covers, publications, memberships, affiliations, that may exist from one department to another. For various reasons that they would have to, enter into those memberships and get, literature and, as I say, establish, those memberships for, forthcoming, updates to, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head as it applies, but, all departments do have a, dues and subscriptions, budget line for those various things that they subscribe to, or may have to pay an annual due to remain in some form of compliance, what have you. I can, Ms. Madigan can speak to what needs that she has in that line to come for that.
Okay, and the reason I'm asking is because it was nothing there, but we're inputting something this year.
Normally been there. So Main Street America and North Carolina Main Street, we have dues that are about $350 a year per entity. And then the North Carolina NCDDA, which is the North Carolina Downtown Development Association, it's a lobbying group out of Raleigh. I think their dues are $175 a year.
Okay, so it's 3 that we have to pay into
Yes.
dues.
Okay, yeah, sure. And yes, ma'am, Ms. Joey, on that same department, the contracted services general. How does that work, you all? How does that work?
Well, contracted services is, a little bit of a catch-all line to accommodate expenses where that there may be, some type of, service that would be needed. As it would apply to maybe, downtown facade upgrade, the planting of flowers in the flower pots. Kind of a hodgepodge of, services that would fall under, that particular line to take care of those needs.
I have one question. All the departments were asked to give back 6% of their budget. Can you tell me if every department gave back 6%, and do you have that number?
That's a calculation that will be revealed as we close out FY 26.
Okay,
That 6% was asked of the directors to facilitate into their current budgets. And when we get down to the end of the year, we'll be able to determine if that 6% was met. With the commitment from the directors was there to do that, and we'll know more when we close up the year.
okay. Second question, and I'm done. We, back in 2019, agreed to bring on 6 more firemen because we were anticipating a new fire station. Those six firemen were brought on. We don't have a station. So I'm trying to understand, is that a necessity at this time? Because those are 6 full-time salary positions with no station.
If I may ask you, Fire Chief, yes,
Absolutely.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Those 6 positions were a portion of the 12 positions that we were currently understaffed with. So those 6 positions actually allowed the fire department to apply a third engine company within our state and within our 2 departments. So instead of having 1 engine at one station and 1 at the other, now we run 3. So there are 2 particular groups of people that operate out of Station 1 on Dabney Drive, and 1 set of firefighters that comes out of Station 2 due to that smaller physical location of that station. So as far as standards go, those positions were only a step of which the city did not continue with their plans to add the additional persons to produce our ISO rating. Any reduction in staff at this point in time will consider the city more than likely ineligible to retain the ISO classification two that we currently have. And that would mean, a tax consequence, not tax consequence, but
A fine.
a change in insurance rate for any particular business inside the city of Henderson. More or less, be a detriment to any kind of external growth.
Okay, so, thank you, Chief, for clarifying that. I do know that when we went through that fire study,
Right.
that those 6 positions were recommended, and I know they were fulfilled, but the importance of it, and if I'm wrong, Mr. Dakey, you were here, I remember that it was because we were emphatically going to build a station on the west end. That was why my question came.
Yeah. Currently, as statistics go, as far as our last 2 gradings, we are still behind at least 1 fire station. And as projected growth is concerned, we're actually behind 1 on the east side and the west side right now.
The east side as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions, council? Oh, last question. This is for you, Joey. The airport. We give the airport $30,000 a year. I spoke with the county, who doesn't contribute anything. I spoke with the city of Oxford, they contribute 33,000, I think 673. And I hadn't gotten back anything from Granville County. Nobody seems to know why we give the airport $30,000. So can someone, I understand it's municipal and it's shared between 2 counties, 2 cities. Even the mayor of Oxford told me that he was totally against it because the airport does absolutely nothing for the city of Oxford, nor does it do anything for the city of Henderson. So why do we give them $30,000 every year?
Well, really, since I came on board 10 years ago, there was an appropriation made for the airport just for the sole purpose of supporting their efforts to do updates and take care of certain maintenance issues that happen through the year. It has been basically nothing more than just a historical record of supporting the airport ever how they got started.
Okay, thank you. I think you all should consider, that's $30,000 with no return. Thank you, Joe.
Can I ask a
Yeah.
question? Yeah,
Absolutely.
we've talked about this before. I know there's some agreement that, yeah, the Oxford, Rankin County, Banks County, and City of Henderson. I don't know if it's a contract or what.
It's like an interlock.
Equally support, and it was done, yeah, and I was back before me. It was part of economic development, working with local economic development, regional. In part, may have had some influence in talking to us about having an airport. It would be, an entity that would add to the value of local industry. And you do have industry out here that use it. They fly in and out, and it makes it easy. I know at least one in Henderson and one in Revlon and Oxford. So it's used for them to be able to come in and out of the region. And you can decide whether you think that's valuable or not, I guess. But that was the reason.
I think it's valuable, but I think Revlon and the other entities should probably be paying for that. I mean, in my opinion,
I
because,
think they are through taxes and stuff.
right.
I just
think $30,000 is a lot to just toss out every year. We're talking about cutting the budget. We're talking about, we got some shortfalls. I just think that if we look at it, to me, in my opinion, the Boys and Girls Club get what, $1,500 a year?
Yes.
I would rather see some of that 30,000 go towards our future versus an airport that don't have no more than maybe 6 people working there. If they got 6. It's not many.
I would look at the number of, planes coming in and out of flights. I don't know what revenue they generate from that. They
I'm
sell
sure it
gas,
generates plenty.
fuel. I'm sure it does. And then I also would look at, the usage by local industry to see if it's important to them. So I think that was the whole reason it's done. So I would look at that. And
But you said
used to-
historically, it's been way before you, so what do we
I think so.
So what do we know about it? Does anybody on the council know anything
I
about
know
the
David
airport?
Thomas, who was the chair of it a few years ago, came and spoke to the council. You and I were both here then.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else was. And, he gave a history of and why and what they do. So, I would love to hear from him again.
He came and I also asked him as a segue to allow the youth from our public school system to maybe come through so they can learn about aviation. So I think that was established. I don't know if it went continued. So I just, that's a hunk of money going in a space that we really can't say what it's used for. But anyway, anybody got any more questions?
Madam Mayor, I would like to know, more about the airport. And it's actually 33,000 and some change that we donate to them a year. So I would like to know why. What's the purpose of it? What's the benefits from it? Because if we're looking at cutting and we know we got to cut, we've got to make some cuts somewhere. This budget is no way it can go through the way it looks now. We're talking about a deficit. So it's gonna take some tough cuts here and there to make it work. And from what I'm hearing, and maybe he needs to come back and get with us, because I don't see the purpose of donating that amount of money to something that no one actually knows anything about.
Certainly council's prerogative to allocate or deallocate funds.
Another thing you might do, Joey, would help if there is a, I don't know if it's called contract or proposal, whatever. We could get a copy of it.
It's an interlock agreement, I read it, but we,
It's an agreement.
yeah, it's an agreement
What
between
it says.
2 municipalities and 2 counties.
And what it says about leaving, it may say you can only leave by giving them a certain deadline or meeting the day, I don't know.
Is-
All agreements are different.
Yeah, I think we should get it.
It's an agreement. Does it stipulate a time frame,
It has a lot of,
verbiage in it?
yeah, so I would rather the council review it.
Okay.
I think it would be beneficial for everybody to read it, because we have been doing that. Gary said you don't remember how long, I know we've been doing it for 11 years, because that's how long I've been here, it's been the same amount every year. So,
Okay.
Okay. Maybe continue.
absolutely.
Okay, thank you, The next, department is cemetery fund. 560. Yes, ma'am. Let's do it. Okay, and Joey, if you would just, please, I see departmental supplies. That looks like a very reasonable number and a recommended, but could you explain a little bit, this contract at 90K? How, is that just for routine maintenance, and is that contracted?
It is, the lion's share of that is gonna be, the long landscaping maintenance of the entire, cemetery properties. Other services that sometimes come into play under that line would be, fallen trees or broken tree limbs. Other types of maybe damages that may occur just from natural, reasons. That line covers all of those required services to keep the cemeteries updated.
Joey, can I ask a question here? We always talk at this time about the funds. We have a large amount of money that's in, I'm not sure what the fund is called. It was left by a family a generation ago for upkeep, and I was talking about upkeep and maintenance of city cemetery. It's not that. I think it's only for addition and expansion. Could you explain to me? It's a $300-some thousand of money. It sits every year since I've been here. I don't think we're gonna spend a nickel out of it.
Just, it's rare, that fund, has been, as you say, in place for some time, and it's, around $300,000 that's in there. We did a little bit of a study on that and got, advice from at the state level that those funds can be used for any purpose that, benefits the cemetery in terms of upgrades, repairs, anything that enhances the quality of that cemetery, those funds can be used for.
And that's why I'm asking, is that some of those funds can be moved into this contract fund to, I mean, you said not, I know you're generically talking about getting limbs up and that sort of thing. Or
Yeah,
or trees, but can it be used for that? That fund's in the city for
Right,
Long.
they have been in there quite a while.
That's-
Certainly those funds could be used for those specific purposes.
Are we looking this year trying to get into those funds? I mean, the question there was about $90,000. I know, I doubt it can be used for contracting for the lawn service, so it might. Maybe can be.
Yeah,
I'd love to get an interpretation of what is the width of our ability to use that.
right. As I say, that, the state advised, some years ago when we looked into that, and it was pretty broad. Any service that enhances the appearance or, repair or quality of the cemetery, those funds could be used for that purpose.
We haven't used any yet.
I don't recall the last time that we used what was
The
that?
tree trim.
The tree trimming, yes, we did use some of that for tree trimming.
Yes.
Y'all say, you say it's been sitting there a long time. Is it in some type of account that it
It's a-
draws interest or?
Right, it's in a, what we call a special revenue account. It's just basically a placeholder that we transfer funds out of as needed.
Do you remember the family? Can you remember the name of the family?
I don't remember.
It was an incredible gift,
Yeah,
but you know, a gift unused to me is a gift ungiven.
right.
We need to use it.
And,
Absolutely.
I remember Councilwoman Champion speaking about, cemetery upkeep and maintenance and different things when you first came on board. And you had specifically given information about this, fund. Was it that the cemetery that you were speaking about was not ran by the city?
It was, they're talking about the one in the,
Wood.
yeah,
Elmwood.
yeah, but the one I was talking about is opposite.
This is Elmwood Cemetery.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Yes,
Just
ma'am.
understand that. You saying Elmwood and Black?
Just Elmwood.
It's just Elmwood is the city. Okay, so who, takes care of the one that comes in off 85?
Blacktall is the one that the council asked us to investigate as to who owned it, who would be responsible for it. And that's, something that we have looked into. The title on that cemetery is very vague. And there are some plots that have been sold and actually have a deed recorded for it, but most of it does not. And the original founding company, if you will, is long since gone out of business, and there is no successor. So right now, Blacknall is kind of in a limbo. The city has done some maintenance, and I can ask Ms. Lipscomb to come up and speak to that.
Madam Chair, Ms. Champion, didn't you question about that cemetery before, by being the viewpoint of people coming into the
Quite a few
party?
times.
Okay.
I mean, I had a concern because coming off of 85, coming up 39, because at one time I understood that the county was supposed to be responsible, and then it's like it changed. So my concern was, you don't want the cemetery to look like it looks. And, I never got a clear answer about what exactly need to be done as far as that cemetery.
Okay. Ms. Priest?
Hey, council, mayor.
Hey.
So the Public Works Department, we do have a landscaping company that cuts the grass there. But that is the extent of what the city does, for Blacknall, being that it is not the city's. We do keep the grass cut. It does need a good tree trimming and some stuff cleaned up. But unless those funds are allocated for that, there's not funding that available for. The account that Joey was talking about is strictly for Elmwood. And we did utilize part of that this year to trim the trees and all over there.
And you're saying that it's in limbo. You don't know who own it. We don't know what avenues. to
It
take.
probably would require going before a judge and having a receiver or a trustee appointed to be able to deal with it. And even then, we're gonna have to get into some fairly, in my opinion, extensive legal bills in order to find out who we have to deal with and to resolve the issues. Since we're in the process of cutting the budget, I don't recommend we go there now.
Okay, and you said we're, if we would run into extensive legal fees, but on this sheet, you're saying we pay an attorney an annual salary. Would that not include,
Yeah, this would be over and above what he is expected to do and
so what is he
provide for.
expected to do then?
Well, he's intended to provide legal advice, to be here at our regular meetings, and to provide, well, he does come to the regular meetings, and we have had quite a few special call meetings. But, in fairness, I would say he has tried to cover those as best he possibly could. He is not local, so that does have some bearing on him.
So I guess my next question is, I mean, even though we're on the cemetery, and we ended up talking about the attorneys. I would like to know how many attorneys do we have? That, other than the two that we know of?
Well, we're engaged in some unusual situations right now. So we have, Mr. Sullivan, as you're aware, is the partnerships, public regional partnerships attorney. So he represents that entity as opposed to just the city of Henderson. Of course, we have, Mark Zog, who helps us on day-to-day activities as well as filings that we might have from employees for EEOC, proceedings, those types of things. And Kristen, you may have, I guess,
It's,
yeah,
it's,
Hicks is also, that's like, one that we have on available to us to provide some consultation as well.
Okay, so we got 3 attorneys. Is it? Have we even considered looking for an attorney that can do what the city needs to do without having 3 different attorneys?
Well, I can tell you that the law is a complicated animal. And it's rare that you find an attorney nowadays who practices in a wide variety of disciplines. Most of them specialize.
So do we have a real estate attorney? And if so, who is it?
That's part of what Mr. Hicks is providing some assistance for. But if it were a complicated issue, I would probably go look for somebody else. And Blacknall is a complicated issue.
Absolutely. And I do know, our citizens, take care of that cemetery on their own. Boys, is it Lady Bad Boys and Bad Girls, Jamil Williams, that his group goes out and they clean that space regularly, so we are thankful for that, because it is different. I'm sorry, and the days ends, yes, ma'am, so thank you for that.
This is a question. Does anybody know, are there still additional burials being done there?
Yeah.
It is. So any of those funeral homes that utilize that, do they do any help with it? Keep that up because.
I'm not aware that they do, and I think it would take some research on what resolutions or ordinances we might need to be able to enforce anything out there. That's part of the problem of this being in limbo. The city really doesn't have authority to go out there and say you can't do this.
Plus, there's not really I'll call it a map. I don't know what it is of exactly who's buried at various. I know there's been burials that started, but stopped because they ended up digging up graves. To me, it's horrible. But yeah, it's a not knowing. We all the way back. It's the county when there was when there was a cemetery that was left. And it's in the county, it's up to the county to maintain it. We had some negotiations in the county years ago. They said, and they said, we'll just go do legal action and see. And that's when the city said, well, okay, since we cared about it enough, we'll at least go clean it up. But that's when the city took on with that, when the county would not. And it's not advised at the time you don't need for legal action because it's gonna cost money. Anyway, I just give you that history of it. I was never happy about any of it. Because they're still, people are still using it, and I think it still creates some issues and not being maintained totally, and nobody has ownership.
Yes.
But
Christie.
Ma'am,
I'm sorry. With the Attorney Sullivan being, coming out of your budget, recalling regional water system. And
yes,
I know there's been a lot of, just a lot of activity with Mr. Sullivan lately.
yes, ma'am.
I would say maybe within the last 60 days. Can you give us a projected amount of what's been spent for that attorney fees, or is it like, is it by hourly? I'm just.
I can't, I can give you a total amount, but I can't give you a breakdown. I don't have that in front of me.
Okay,
Right now, it's around 100,000 that we've spent.
$100,000 in the last 60 days?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's a lot of money.
Lawyers ain't cheap.
I'm sure. Thank you. And we received one letter and a couple of meetings of participation. Okay,
So, Madam Mayor, I have a question.
sure.
Carol.
Go ahead.
So if we doing, I mean, if that's the case, and she said the last 60 days, how many meetings do y'all have? Cause he's normally at those meetings, right?
We've had quite a few, because he's conferencing with a number of people as well. We have two partners. He represents the entire partnership, and that's where the money is coming from. So essentially, the city of Henderson is paying 60%, Oxford 20, and Warren County 20.
So is that $100,000 included in what the partners are paying, or is that just the city of Henderson?
That's the total.
So when it's regional paying it, that regional's money comes from the three partners
Okay.
when they pay their water.
But that's still a 60-40 split.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, any more questions? This is interesting.
Okay, and we
Absolutely.
yes. Would we like to move? Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Would you like to do that next? You want to do the next? Just to have it out question? Okay, yes, ma'am. We can do the administration. If we can go back. Summary sheet. And that is administration for finance, ma'am. Is that no department, 440, 420? Okay. Unfortunately. You can go ahead, I'll find it.
So which one are you talking about?
427.
Okay, right. Joey,
Where's your microphone, Councilman?
Yes, right here.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, okay.
Good morning anyway.
Yes,
But,
ma'am.
I'm sorry, Joey. The administrative 420, question on the salaries and wages, I know the previous year, we're showing $352,899.85, and the manager recommended for this year is 192,500. How many employees is that?
That's for 2 employees.
The two?
The previous year, that included 2 other individuals. You had the city manager, you had the public information officer, assistant city manager, and the executive assistant. And this, for proposed for FY27, it's the city manager and executive assistant.
So going forward, it would be two employees. And a question, it says cell phones, Verizon, 2,500, how many cell phones is that? 2 cell phones. And I got one more.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm following right behind.
Okay, and I guess my other question would be for dues and subscriptions. It was 8,569 the last year, previous year. And I see it's down to 2,000. So what type of dues and subscriptions do they pay into?
Various, as I said before, various affiliations that they subscribe to for association with memberships. Um, like periodical literature, could be it's just a wide range of subscriptions that might come into play for the city manager's use.
Okay, and that's just me, y'all. That's just me. I'm seeing a lot of departments, are all the departments, most of them are here in this building,
Well, for the general fund, that's correct.
the general fund. And I'm sorry, Kelly, let me just throw this out there, because I did not get my tour, so I don't know all of the departments and stuff. And the
We're happy to do.
okay, I do need one. I would like to have one. And the reason I asked is because if we're all in this building and we need to cut costs, can we not share some subscriptions, that's geared toward majority instead of a select department? I mean, is it some way we can cut some of that?
I don't see any of those being shared. Usually those dues and subscriptions are catered
Now,
to the
dues,
function of that department.
yeah, dues is a totally different thing,
Yeah.
but, apples and oranges here. So subscriptions is, you're saying periodicals and that type of thing.
Right.
So,
Yeah, as it might apply to that particular department. Just for example, the fire department has their own affiliations and memberships, just like the police does, but.
yeah,
they're
but
not, you know,
they're separate. They're
Yeah.
off in another site,
Yeah.
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 I'm talking basically here in-house.
It really doesn't matter where they're at. Those subscription services are catered to the needs of the function of each department.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I still see that we cut it from over 8,000 to 2,000.
Yeah, I think with the previous city manager, there was a high number of subscription purchases that he saw fit to take up on. That's not part of this budget.
Thank you.
Okay, and, that's.
You ready?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. So could we move on along now to Public Works, if we could go over Public Works, please? Thank you. I don't have any questions on sanitation. Does anyone have any questions on sanitation? Yes. Wait, two. Yes. Could you tell me how many employees on sanitation? Please, Joel.
Lee, you have that number?
It's five. Then I asked, while I was just still waiting to see if Councilwoman Kitty has a question, how, maybe Taylor can help me with this. Is there a structured chart for holiday pay, holiday bonuses, staff bonuses?
I believe we have a set policy for that, and, Mr. Siegel can address the equation for that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the city does recognize a number of holidays throughout the year that's paid for by the city. And that is within our budget matrix and is captured under that particular number as it relates to each salary. Total.
Joey,
Are you good? Sure.
I have a question, Waste Industries, motor fuels, that has been taken out and we spent almost 41,000 on that. Why was that? Why is that zeroed out then? Page 6.
Yeah, Waste Industries is under its own singular contract, so it's a one contract price to cover all of those expenses that come into play.
George, does that contract go up every year based on consumer price index? Something
They do impose a annual increase based on their cost matrix that is spread out across their customers. I don't know if you have anything more than that.
Typically 4 or 5%.
Yeah, yeah, it's just kind of a blanket percent that they levy against the city. I suppose they're all other customers.
And then when we initiated that contract years ago, I meant for us, because we were trying to find money, doing away with us picking up garbage and doing away with employees and equipment. So we did employees home. So working through the contract, that's still,
You know, if they
getting their hire.
Yeah, if, I don't know if they're actually getting their gas from us, you guys don't think so.
They don't come to Public Works and get gas there. But the gas is bought and sent and delivered to them
Cheap.
at our cost,
At our cost,
yes.
Which is tax, I guess, state and federal tax. Which was, so that was to help keep the contract low. I
It
just
is.
wonder whether that's still.
And they combined that into the contract, was it end of last year, Lee? They've combined it so that it's not two line items now. It used to be a line item for gas and a line item for the contract, and that's been rolled into one now.
Are we able to see the benefit now that it's rolled into one? Now that we're not seeing the
It's no
linear?
tit for tat, honestly. It's just not encumbered in two line items.
The billing is simpler.
Yes, the billing is much simpler.
Well, I just wonder if we're still getting the benefit of the contract then, like we're allowed them to buy gas at a much cheaper price. Anyway, I just throw that out there to be looked at, and make sure we know that's the case. We're trying to save money.
We can't do.
Yeah.
With the gas, with them being able to purchase the gas lower, it doesn't increase our cost as much.
That was absolutely the idea.
It was.
I'm thinking you have. Well, combining one cost center now, are we able to see what that benefit is of them and what the benefit is into the contract for us? I don't know. I never seen the contract, but that's what I would think we would mean.
We saw when we went through it, because Lee was involved in it also. When we went through it with them, we saw the difference. It makes it simpler on the billing side for us to combine it.
And I just said that too, just so other council members know, was we did these contracts and did these things, we were always looking at how to save money.
Yes.
We didn't likely give up garbage collection as a city service. But in that year, I remember we were had to buy a truck or two. At the time, trucks were $500,000, and then they're probably much more than that now, and we didn't have the money to do it. So we had to find out, and we had back more garbage picked up, which was great service. We found out that 90%+ of the people in the state did not have background garbage pickup.
Yes,
So it
sir.
was easy to go to a cheaper contracted service, street side. And we did the gasoline thing as a benefit and the cost, but I think like the CPI, where after the first or second year, it would go up based on consumer prices. Hadn't seen that contract.
I think the GFL contract is about 67,000 a month, isn't it?
GFL, let's see,
The household pickup.
yeah.
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I'd have to look.
Yes, sir. Lee.
It's
Bless your hand, he raised his
somewhere around 70,000.
70, okay, yeah, I knew it was close to 67 the last time I looked at it. Yeah. Come on. And I know, Gary, you said that the truck was what, $500,000 a couple of years ago?
Probably $1 million.
You ready? Okay, if we can look at Public Works Street. I need to start. Question. All right, thank you. I'm actually on starting on page 60 here, Bridge Street. And I first wanted to ask about the sidewalks that we have many, as listed here, many sidewalks that are in need of repairing within the city limits. And, manager recommended amount is $40,000 for the year. And even the department requested 60,000. And with the William Montgomery Street project on the horizon, and it being a lot of walking traffic in the city in the next couple of years, repairing sidewalks has pretty much been a priority of mine. Well, my question is there any way we could take advantage of some of the resources we have in the city, concrete companies, Sunrock, whatever, to take better advantage of the resources that we have here? Or are we just, can you tell me how we're paying for sidewalk repairs? Thank you.
Well, certainly what the city does apply in that regard, the services comes out of that budget. There may be an association with other outside resources that could possibly become part of that process. I don't know if that's something that.
Miss Christie standing her behind you. Yeah.
So, so we do try to utilize whatever we can in the community with the fixing that. I can tell you concrete is not cheap. But the biggest part is the people who have to do the sidewalks. We do not have people who lay concrete in the street department. We do not have people that lay asphalt. We can do potholes, but we don't lay asphalt in the street department. And those services come at a huge cost. We just did, or we're fixing to do a sidewalk. How many feet is that, Lee?
I don't know, 80 feet, 100 feet, it's not far.
Yeah, and it's costing us
13,000.
13,000. So the problem is not the materials so much, it's the people who are qualified to do sidewalks and asphalt. So,
And wouldn't it just be a training though? Like they teach the students at Job Corps that. And I'm not sure exactly what the curriculum is at Vance Granville. I'm a teacher there.
I'm not sure either.
But I think that we could benefit, and Dr. Zavarius is great as it relates to city employees. I just think that if there's an opportunity for our workforce to expand their skill set,
Right.
I think that, well, I don't think, I know that the city could benefit from that. So I think maybe it's something we should look at.
I am all for people expanding their knowledge. You're not gonna find nobody in the city that, as far as cross training and learning new things, I'm right there with you. It's the time
Okay.
for the employees to put it in, not so much as on work time, but sometimes it takes their time. So they've got to be willing to put that in. Plus, they've got to be willing to stand by their work when they do that. It's not as easy as going out there, putting up a frame, throwing in some concrete.
Okay, so, okay, that's great. So what if, we could maybe garner a partnership with Vance Granville Community College?
All for it.
We should take advantage of them being in our community. And I do know that, Dr. Demarius, again, is very open. So this may not take someone away from workforce hours. This is probably something they can do online.
Okay.
They have instructors that teach online. Again, I'm one of them. And
So,
most of-
but when
most of my,
teaching
let me-
online?
let me finish. Most
Oh,
of my
okay.
students, they're companies. Most of the students that come to my class are all paid for by their employers. So that's what I'm saying. It's a possibility of our workforce expanding their skill set,
Right.
not really at the city's expense, because there are lots and lots of money. I'm on the foundation board as well.
Okay.
The foundation board has money for people that want to learn new skills, and I don't think this would be like a 6 to 9 month type thing. I think we should maybe look at that to, like you said, cross train.
Is it a hands-on
Yes.
class? Because you said most of it's
They have
online.
No. They have brick that you can do hybrid.
Okay,
So part of the class could be online, like the book instruction,
okay,
and then you can show up and do like the hands-on.
okay.
So I think maybe
By all
that's
means.
something we should look at.
All right,
Yeah.
we can do that. If you can put me in touch.
Absolutely,
Okay,
gotcha.
all right.
So we could put some concrete down and make some sidewalks.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you. A lot of other municipalities are taking advantage of their local resources.
Yeah.
Okay, and thank you. If we could move over to page 61 at the top, the utility patching. Okay, and again, we're talking about potholes, one of our favorite things, Miss Christie. But I know, so you're saying, Miss Christie, with the repairs for the year, you requested 50,000 and the manager recommended 25. And I know
That's
we're
utility
trying to-
cuts. Is that what you're looking at?
Potholes, utility patching.
Okay, so utility patching is if we have a water line break or a sewer line break
Okay,
and we have to cut up the asphalt, that's what the utility patching is. So we try to keep that separate from the other, so that we know what actually it's costing us.
So why does it say DR for potholes and repairs? right under that number.
So up under that,
Yeah, it says
So-
like an explanation for MR utility patch, and it says DR for path holes and repairs throughout the city. 3/27/2026.
yes,
Ms. Christie.
go ahead, Joe.
So for the utility patching, in the street budget, that is for potholes and if we have to do any utility cuts for like storm drain repairs and stuff like that, that's where this pulls from.
So it's like a dual type thing.
So in our water and sewer budgets, we also have a line item for utility patching. And we can utilize funds from our water and sewer, budgets to patch those utility cuts, but, this is from the street department for anything like a pothole or something.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, for the item on auto supplies, I'm just going to take it that supplies went up. Um. 18,879 to 39,000, supplies went up. This is to make repairs at the street department level. Everything has gone up, so, you know, with that, fuels, supplies, departmental supplies, everything goes up. Storm drain materials, to fix storm drains. We must be really getting the work in now
We're trying.
and anticipating in the upcoming year. Okay, for that request and what's recommended. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I see that y'all are, like you say, you're trying to make improvements, because you know, our citizens are hollering about different things. Have you, employed more employees, or is it just this 15 that's covering all of that?
They're covering. So Mr. Sproul, city manager, allowed us 2 additional employees just to work on potholes.
Okay.
So we did replace those 2 positions. We replaced them already, right? Like, I know we did interviews.
Yeah,
Okay.
we added 2 positions, so,
So that's included in the 15?
yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. For the storm drain materials,
Mhm.
and just getting a little education here, thank you. To fix storm drains within the city. And then we have the storm drain improvements for the storm drains that need repairs. And I know there. One, you know, you're looking at 10K for the materials. And then we're paying for the materials and we're paying for the 20K, recommended by the manager, for the improvement, so. A storm drain student thing is overrun with debris sometimes. But the materials, looks like last year. Is that correct? $1,935.
Right, that was, the budget, that budget was spent. And so, you know, with the focus on improving, storm drains as, it's kind of been on the city's radar over the last few years is storm drain improvement. So the current budget is 25,000 in this year. For storm drain materials. And as of the budget presentation, the work session that we did a week ago, we have about 14,000 still available on the table for this year. So it was basically just a judgment call to establish that for next year at 10,000 and see how that works out. Again, last year we only spent 1,500. And we still got 14,000 on tape. So that's a workable range that budget would probably work. Funds can be moved from other lines that are doing, better throughout the course of the year to add to that if need be.
Okay. And that's good. That explains the recommended amount of 20K for the improvements for the year.
Yes. Madam Mayor, I'm gonna ask Chris Lee, leave both a question. I'm still concerned about the, lights in the communities. Cause I'm looking at overhead lights and, traffic lights and stuff. Have we made the necessary? Have we done what was necessary to make sure the lighting in those communities are okay? Because
So,
I'm looking at a list of, traffic, which that not necessarily includes that, but the overhead lights, Pinker Street lights on and all that. I'm looking at all that and I just wanted to know if the necessary repairs, because, in the Ward 4 district and the Ward 3 district,
mhm.
it's not, to me, in my opinion, adequate lighting.
So to that, the police department is doing a really good job of going around on the weekends and then submitting on Mondays. I believe it's Mondays, right, Marcus?
This one.
Okay. On Mondays, everything that they find, lights out, not working properly, broken, whatever, to do for them to go out and check it. If there is a section where there is not, that someone feels that there is not adequate lighting, they need to send it to me. That way we can do what we call a light study. Because there are certain regulations and spacing and all of that that we have to do with the engineering department to be able to say, yes, we can put lights there. Just because someone thinks it's too dark, it may not be somewhere we can place a light. Now, remember, when we do that, that becomes a city light, which means the city pays for that each month.
I think that's great information, Christy, but I wanna talk about Mr. Dickey in Ward 3. I think that's been a situation probably for the last 10 years. That the citizens have always complained in Ward 3 for sure. And Ward 4, because my mom lives in Ward 4, that the lights, they don't have enough lighting. We also know that statistically proven that there's no light, there is crime. And so, I know, Gary, we've done a couple of sessions at the churches and it is very dark.
Can you send me those areas so we
Yeah.
can take a look?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I have sent some to you, and they have been done.
Yep. We try, when I get them, we take a look at it.
Okay, because the last time I had the discussion a couple of years ago, everybody kept saying it was Duke had to do it. So
No,
the city can actually put up lights.
when we do the study, Duke puts the lights up
Okay.
and then we pay for the lights. The
Gotcha.
city has to pay for it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next.
Joey, I have one, well, Christie, one of y'all, I have one question. I see here on page 64, the capital outlay, the amounts that were spent there and it's been zeroed out, is that? Can you explain why that?
Yes, through the course of, arriving at a balance in this budget, as I illustrated during the recommended budget, all travel and all capital outlay has been eliminated.
Okay, but, Bates, capital outlay, what do that say? When you say capital outlay to me, what are you telling me?
It's basically equipment type of items. It could be a dump truck, it could be a service truck, it could be a bulldozer, a backhoe. Anything along that heavy equipment line, falls into that category.
And so that, okay. Okay, thank you.
Street. We could move slowly to Public Works Garage. Public Works Garage.
Thank you, Joe and Chrissy. You guys have been super patient.
No problem. Thank you very much. Dominique is opening them today.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, what's up?
Garage. Oh, okay.
Well, I think while Mayor Pro Tem and Councilwoman Gill is reviewing, are there any adjustments that the council see in the budget? Cause I do think we are supposed to adopt it by a certain date. So are there any adjustments that anyone wants to talk about? Maybe putting more in one place and less in another, or this question, are there any adjustments that anyone see?
I just pretty much want to know, in some of the positions, is it really necessary to have an assistant? If it's a small department, yeah,
I think it depends on which department we're talking about, Ms. Jackson.
so you waiting for me to the department.
Yes,
Human resources.
I believe given the number of employees that we have, that is warranted. I think it would be difficult for one person to do it.
So another city of our size, what kind of study actually has been done to say that, it's necessary, or is that just your personal opinion?
Well, it's my observation based on, and the fact I've been here for a number of years. At one time, we had only one person in that department, and it was all she could do to hold it together.
Question, would a one full-time and a part-time, would that cover the needed, work for that department?
Ms. Gill, I think we do what we have to do. But it's my belief that a part-time person would not be skilled enough to be able to handle what's needed for them.
I mean, on that I disagree, because you would, a part-time person can be just as skilled as a full-time person.
But there's a knowledge that goes with HR though, that.
That's true, but you would interview for an HR person, a person with those, what's needed to work in HR. So that's doable. A part-time position is doable.
I can't say it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked part-time and I know it's doable. So,
I mean, I guess the reason why I'm asking, because a lot of times, never mind.
Madam Mayor, may I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone, and I'm so sorry for being late. I had a little hiccup at work, but I'm so happy to be here. Council member Champion offered me a perfect segue. I have here in front of me both the budget and also an article that was published by our local media, where it states that we have 2 employees in the HR office. Is that correct? Each making $164,000. Is that correct?
That's incorrect.
Could you please describe what those, if this is,
Yeah, I think that's the same question you asked the last time, but.
no,
for the
last
information.
time I asked about 192 for the administrative department. I did not ask about HR, and I would like to
Okay,
get clarity on that.
sure.
Yeah, the budgeted salary, for both of those individuals is, $162,300. That covers both individuals.
there's 2 employees.
2 full-time.
Although that's not in our, although that's not in our purview. So hate that word, but although that's not in our purview, I just feel like it's important. The reason why I asked about the reason why I agree with the part-time part is because a lot of times, the doors are closed.
Okay,
Um,
Councilwoman Champion, we can't do that.
I just feel like I just feel like a part-time position, saving money. I mean, we're talking about the budget, we're talking about money saving things that need to be done. So I question the full-time and the part-time.
Okay, this question is for you, Joey, and please help me understand, because this is an astronomical number. In our finance department, our salary and wages are $403,000. Well, last year was $403,336.39. This year was $406,000, 379 cent, well, $79.75. If I do the math right, that means that 2 employees inside of finance is making over 6 figures and 4 are making at least 70,000. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So we have 4 people in finance making $70,000 plus full-time benefits, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, what would that number look like with the benefits added?
Uh,
And that's kind of a lot of money, so can you tell me exactly what those positions are? Like, are they
Well-
payroll specialists?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, it's, of course, finance director myself,
Okay.
assistant finance director,
okay, so those are the 2 six-figure salaries?
correct.
Okay, got it,
And then, we have of course, the payroll specialist,
okay,
the accounts payable, slash accountant, and the backup, accounts payable and accountant.
so I'm just trying to understand, that's a lot of money. So 4 people make $70,000 a year,
Correct.
and one of them are an accountant, correct?
But we have two that are, payroll,
Special,
accounts payable. In other words, we have, one of our staff was the former, payroll specialist. She's now the backup for that payroll specialist and also the accounts payable, specialist. So she's the backup, a dual role backup.
and we have about, what, 250 employees now?
Yes, ma'am, at any given time, that was.
Is that a normal finance department for the size of our city?
Well, it's, we actually had one more person than that years ago. That's the current, number that we have now. Which, believe me, comes in very, very handy if our payroll specialist is out. Chrissy Buchanan, who was the former one, steps right into that role and we don't miss a beat, with getting payroll out all the time.
So it sounds like most of the people in your department are kind of cross-trained and can step right in.
Absolutely. We have to have that for that very purpose, because if you do have a payroll specialist that is out for extended sickness and you can't get payroll out, you also can't report to the IRS, those income taxes. And if you don't do that, then we get fined by the IRS, and it's a lengthy process to get that squared away.
Okay, so and during the market study, during the marketable study for employees, is that a regular salary for someone that works in finance?
Those were salaries that were established by the study.
By the study? Okay, okay, thank you.
Joey, you say, reporting to IRS, do you do it quarterly or monthly?
Per payroll.
Per payroll?
Right.
Okay. And you have software that kind of,
Yeah, it's, it is tied into the payroll software and calculations that fill out the required report that's done online.
okay.
And Joey, if I can ask, who is responsible for helping to retrieve the templates and all that we want to send to cyber tech? Is there any particular person in the finance department that's assigned to retrieve those or try to build ours back up?
You mean the material that was lost? Well, each one of us in finance, has our own set of templates. Our own, use, of software as it might relate to the module that we go into. Accounts payable will have their own individual module. Accounts payable, same thing. The assistant finance director and myself, we have our own, various modules within the finance, software makeup that we utilize daily. Now, when the cyber attack occurred, we were able to go back to our software provider. And they were backed up, they keep a backup of our system. They had to go back to a date that was clean. And then forward that to us, and we had to manually build back all of the files from that clean date up to present. A massive amount of work and, took a great deal of time to do that. All of the spreadsheets and other forms that we do had to be totally recreated.
I think, if I may ask a question, it was seen that the finance department could operate on a smaller crew. It seems it could be revamped. And it also seems that it is what we sometimes call top heavy. With everyone cross training and everyone knowing everyone's position, and you're saying that one role is there basically in case the one person can't be there.
Well, that person has their daily duties, which is a full-time job, but when the payroll specialist is out, they shift into that position and has previously been in that position for a number of years, so we don't miss a beat. That backup role, if you're talking about being making a decision to downsize finance, it would likely be a backup role, but therefore you don't have a backup. And you do run the risk of not getting payroll out and missing your IRS.
Anybody else?
Madam Mayor, may I please ask a question?
1 second. I'm looking at the North Carolina market data, right? This is a reputable space where we get salaries from. For a senior account specialist, I can understand that salary at 70,000. But for an accounts payable specialist in the state of North Carolina, the range is from 48,000 to 56,000. So would that be I'm just trying to understand, is that $70,000 salary plus benefits, or is that the benefits included into the 70,000? Because according to the North Carolina market data, which is a credible website, that salary for an accounts payable specialist only ranges the highest at 56,300.
Well, I can only speak to the study that was done for us. That's where that's the level that those salaries were approved.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm just, no, not facetiously, Joe. I'm just trying to understand. That's a really high salary for
Yeah.
people in the same space, two doing the same thing, one doing something different. And then the two executives in that department, and of course I expect the executives to make six figures because you got a lot of work. But I'm just looking at the highest pay in North Carolina, and I don't know who did the study, I don't remember. But according to the North Carolina market data, the highest salary for that position is 56,300 at the high level. So and then a senior one, as a senior one it goes to 69. That's why I'm wondering, have they been there like a long time?
They have been, the assistant finance director, just for example, has been closing in on 30 years.
Okay.
Our accounts payable, Kelly has been there.
You don't have to call names.
Yeah, I believe it's 16, 17 years.
Okay. So they're all the seniors.
Yeah, the backup has been there 10 years.
Okay.
And our newest accounts, our payroll specialist that was working in a different county, came over with a number of years of experience.
Okay, thank you so much. Go ahead, Ms. Hammond.
Fantastic. Segueing from what the mayor just asked you, Joey, and again, this is just me simply being a new council member and wanting perspective, because I believe previous actions and decisions certainly tell the story of how we're here today. That being said, was the study done by someone who is well versed in municipal salary studies and whatnot? Can you give me more backstory if that is possible?
Right, the HR department sourced out, the company that provided the pay study. And I believe there was a number of applicants for that role before the city made its decision to go with the outfit that actually performed the services. So there's a lot of criteria that went on with the selection of that. The HR director could probably speak more to that, but that was the process.
Thank you so much.
So I guess my question I want to, ask is, not picking at HR, but was she able to figure what the study figured out? I mean, is it anything that's in place to figure out what, George should make?
The criteria was based on the demographics of other municipalities that were similar to the size of Henderson and other factors that made us a good match to compare to other cities. Do you remember how many cities it was? It was four different cities that matched us closely in a variety of demographics.
Were they tier one counties or were they just population related?
They were population related in our area immediately,
Okay, so that may not have been tier one county.
potentially.
Okay. More questions, council?
I have a question, to you actually, what you just explained, the study was done on population and not according to tier one. And is that how the salaries were increased or no? Does that have to do with the salary study?
No, I think they just did a study based on size, but you have to also, I think any firm that did the study, a reputable firm would have definitely included the fact that we are an underserved, tier one, marginalized, under, economically disadvantaged community. And I think that would have made a difference because of our fund balance, and we are not a very rich city. So I think that should have been taken into consideration. I don't remember, I think the study was done maybe, 4 years ago, Gary, during the pandemic? 4 years, 5 years, 2 years ago? Okay, yeah, so, I think all of those factors, and I don't know if that was their formula, because normally they use a formula, kind of like Joey uses in finance to come up with it. I don't know if that was put in, but I think that should have been considered, because of our population and our financial situation. Like, we're not a rich community, so I think that should have been looked at. I don't know if it was or not, and I don't know if it was the raises that took them to the end. I'm just not sure. That would be something Joey could explain. But I think moving forward, we need to understand that this is a tier one county, which means that we are underserved and we are economically disadvantaged. And we also, the median income for this city completely is around $56,000. That's not a lot of money. So I think that all of that should be taken into consideration. I can see Raleigh paying payroll specialists $70,000 a year. I just can't see the city of Henderson. Even with the study that was done, again, I don't know what company it was, and I don't know, what they actually delved into, because everybody used different formulas for different things. And I will call the HR director because she would know that. So do you know exactly what was given to them for a formula for our community other than population?
So they have a presentation, which I would be happy to share with anyone who wants to see that. As well as they would be more than happy to come and talk with you about numbers, what they looked at, figures. They did have our annual budget, figures, they looked at our staffing, they looked at all the different variables that we have here.
When you say variables, explain.
as far as our, hiring needs, our retention issues that we had at the time, still do continue to have at the time with public safety. All of those issues, they took all of that into consideration. They did meet with all of the directors, on multiple occasions, discussing the needs of the departments, how they need to meet the levels to retain staff here instead of them going elsewhere to another neighboring community. And those things are all looked at. But, and again, this is all detailed in the report. I'd be more than happy to share.
Okay, what's the name of the company?
It's called AIM,
AIM.
AAIM.
And that was put out on the RFP, I'm sure, and they were vetted from 3 other companies.
At least.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions, Council?
On finance.
General question, man, council. This is for the city manager, as we're talking about trying to find ways to save money, and we're talking about positions that may be unnecessary. Have you identified any positions that you feel as a city manager that may be redundant or unnecessary?
Well, I would point out that, the ones that we did identify have been removed from the budget. In fact, I believe, Joey, if I'm right, that, the assistant to the mayor was not included in the budget, that's correct. As an example.
Thank you.
And the assistant to the mayor for public record, was making $22.50 an hour at a 20-hour work week. And with no benefits. So I just want that to be recorded, that people would know that, the mayor is the mayor of the entire city, of 15,000 plus people. And so, I can make it without an assistant, but I think that was, something that should have been discussed. But it's okay for us to have higher salaries in other places, but I mean, he was working very hard for $400 a week with no benefits. I just want that to be publicly stated. So, thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
just to kind of piggyback off, Mr. Noel, in doing a study, you only came up with one position that could be eliminated?
That's the only one that was actually eliminated. We have frozen other positions. Some of them quite sizable, but also director positions. I have some very capable, assistants that are handling, a lot of those responsibilities right now. And I might add that they are contributing far beyond what they're being compensated, and it is saving the city money.
And the reason I asked that is because, I mean, we have to be realistic here. We've given out raises that, we could not afford. We can't go back and take them back. So what we're looking at now is making the hard decisions. We're gonna have to cut the fat somewhere. I mean, no one wants to, but we have to be realistic with this budget here, and the money that we have and the shortfall that we have. Some cuts are gonna have to be made somewhere. So we need to realistically look at these salaries. We need to look at departments. We need to see, who is cross-trained, who can cover, positions, and not being funny or facetious. But if we're giving out, you're making the top dollars, then you're gonna have to work to that pay.
Yeah.
You know, I looked at one department had 15 employees. And that came nowhere near to some of the other departments. So, I mean, that's my thing. We're looking at making cuts. We've got to do something to get this budget passed. And I know people not gonna like it, but somebody's gotta make the hard decisions. So we got to come up with some other departments that can do without the number that they are working with.
I don't think one job is gonna help the budget.
It's not.
One part-time position is gonna make it anything. I just don't.
Let me clarify that, the current budget proposed for the FY 27 fiscal year, it's balanced as is. There's not a deficit or shortfall. However, if council does so, determine that you'd like to take some of the, expense lines further down, certainly that's your decision, but we are balanced across the board as we stand now.
So are we balanced with the earmark or we just balanced?
Well, the earmark is in there, that's what.
That was balanced, that's right.
Okay.
So, we're not balanced.
I'd like to add something here, just a thought for council. This is going forward. It's not gonna solve now, but it may solve in the future. And we haven't had a line item discussion whatsoever about county, city dually funded programs. And that's tore me up for years. I know some of you are tired of hearing, but we fund some programs with the county. And I think we get the short end of the stick of it on every single one of them. And I'll give you just a quick history. I know you're tired of it, but you know, the money was in the city for years. The meals were here, the families were here, the money was here. And when programs came up to be done, the city would move forward and offer programs and they either asked the county to come in or let them come in later or co-fund. But it's always been that way. My belief is, of course, our budget's awful and I don't think it's going to change quickly. But I think the counties will. I'll just go ahead and say, I think they're going to site a data center, and I think it's going to happen, and they're going to bring in a lot of money. I think we should start a process of discussing with the county the process for them to look at how much the city has carried them on programs over 50 years, and they can begin the process of helping rectify that, since they may have revenue that we may not have. And I'm specifically looking at 911, library, parks and recs, that'd probably be the three biggest ones. Just for those, you know, you think about it, you know, I live in the city, but I'm I'm a Vance County taxpayer, as we all are. So you pay to the county and you pay to the city. So when we have a 50-50 program and it's coming out of general fund, the city taxpayer is paying his out of the city's budget, half of it. And then we're paying our share out of the county, and we're about a third of the county's general fund, about 15,000, 40,000+. So you can look at, in most of these 50-50 programs, if they are truly that, we're paying 65 to 70% of the program through our contributions as a county taxpayer and a city taxpayer. So there was never made any justification in the beginning why those should have been balanced in terms of how much people are paying. They just threw 50% city or 50% county. And that truly puts the burden on the city taxpayer, who's also a county taxpayer. So I would like to look at those again. The rec is 45 county. It's not even 50-50, it's 50 city. So we're paying, I don't know, close to 70% of that out of our two pots of taxes. Library system, we moved that to where we're not paying as much. Won't get into why, but you know, library systems around us are run by counties. Most counties run library systems. Cities don't. We had a private library, the Perry family put it in the city years ago. The city took on responsibility for it. The county came in later. But you know, I would like to see the county have a library system. For a matter of fact, a lot of people in the southern and northern part of the county have a branch like they do in Granville County, Franklin County. But we have one large library, which is wonderful, but costs a lot of money, and we're still paying into that. And I tell you, what bothers me most is we own it. I don't want to own it because the maintenance on that's getting ready to come to us. It's going to be painting, it's electrical, it's going to be mechanical. We're seeing heating and air now. It's all going to fall on the city. I think the county should have a library system. I think they should own a library. I think they should fund it 100%. But I think if we could sit and start talking some of these things, July 1, set a committee to talk with the county manager and our manager and others and see if we can lay out a plan of the next 3 to 5 years they take. 911 drives me crazy. What are we paying for 911 this year? Plus $900,000. 911s are always run by the city or county or a combination. There's a lot of models out there. So we need to look at who does what in terms of these services. It's not necessarily city service. And it's getting to the cost handling. Obviously, we're running our own system, although I'm not suggesting we do that. But I would suggest that the county comes in with extra revenue, conversation with them to take on more of the part of their role and the cost, where they saved over time by us paying more, could now be the benefactor to the city as we try to play. I think we need to start a conversation. And this situation we have here won't be fixed overnight. That is one way we might could begin to fix it. We certainly got to start thinking outside the box and thinking forward.
Yeah, I think that is a very reasonable path. And I might add, Ms. Gill, that it probably also makes sense for us to take a look at the number of folks that we have that are coming very close to retirement. And it may be possible to, and prudent, to take a look at that opportunity as opposed to actually having to cut staff across the board, cut compensation across the board. But we're happy to pursue whatever avenues the council directs us to.
So with what you just said, you said about cutting staff. Now, most of y'all know I don't care how nobody feel about me, so I'm gonna say what I got to say, whether you like it or not. I just find it ironic that the conversation was about one position that needed to be cut. Makes me think there was a conversation behind the scenes. But Pella, you said you don't want to cut staff, but you want to cut that young man's staff. I mean, that young man. So I'm asking this question. Who else do you feel, or do you recommend, since you like to do recommendations, who else do you feel needs to be cut? Because clearly that one position.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
I still want to know, Madam Mayor.
I understand, and it's okay, but I don't think that's appropriate. It's okay.
But if we're talking about doing a budget.
Now, if you wanna name departments, that's fine.
That's what I'm saying. If we talking about doing a budget and having to have cut somebody, then clearly I agree with Councilwoman Gill. There gots to be somebody else. Yes, I said gots to. That's what I meant. There gots to be somebody else that you need to find a cut. That can't be the only one you want to recommend.
You think that was done purposely?
I know it was,
It's all good.
and I know why.
But it's.
But I still want to know the answer to that question. Please and thank you.
I think you would need to give us an opportunity to talk with the directors and see what might be the best recommendation we can give you, if that is council's mandate going forward, that you want us to start cutting positions to balance the budget.
Wouldn't it have been appropriate, and I'm not a department head, I'm just the mayor of the city. Wouldn't it have been appropriate that I would have known, or you would have told me so I could prepare my assistant? Not that he's gonna not be okay, but don't you think it would have been a great conversation to have with me? That, hey, we're not gonna fund him this year. I'm just wondering.
Well, Mayor, I apologize that being the case, but I thought that we were talking about the budget in general and.
Well, I mean, Councilmember Noel pointed out there, which one did you see?
Yeah.
Like he already knew, and then you commented and gave it to him. So I'm just wondering, wouldn't it have been nice to just say, hey, Mayor, George is a great person, Susan, everybody know who my assistant is. And, but this is not what we can do this year. I think it would have been a common courtesy, and it's all about communication. I don't know if that was supposed to be a sucker punch, but I don't feel sucker punch because you're a sucker. But at the end of the day, we cannot have biases. We cannot have biases, and we need to be very transparent on what's going on. So moving forward, I'm just asking, please, for communication. That's all I'm asking for.
Very.
Thank you.
Hey, one more thing I was gonna bring
Sure,
up.
bring it.
Was forward thinking process. I don't think we're gonna do a whole lot of changes to this budget. As it stands. I mean, it's tight as it can be. But I would say we know this is gonna be where we are next year, and we'll be talking about cutting people or services, that sort of thing. We don't want to do that. Would it be wise, and this is for the manager to decide, not I, to begin July 1 meeting with staff and a special meeting that's gonna be called, we all gotta cut 5 to 10% of our budgets for next year. And I know you asked them to return 6% this year. I would think that would be the same process that needs to begin 8, 9 months ahead this year, as we're moving forward to say, we know we'll have the situation next year unless we have some incredible revenue come in. Year, it won't happen in a year. How do we run the city? And with the idea being, we're not cutting positions if we can, but we will find ways to get jobs done dually. Or we will try to get, I don't want to cut services but I do think that sometimes there's ways to get the economics out of departments a little better, knowing that we're just not going to have the money, knowing that we're not going to accept less service, that yes, we want to give the citizens all the service we need, but we've got to find a way to do it a little better. I was been reading a lot about data centers and AI, and I'm looking at one of the first things companies are doing now, corporations, stock market's going crazy because they're cutting staff because AI is helping them find ways to use less people. And one of the things I read about all the different ways that's happening, this is a bunch of ways. One of them though was customer service. When you call in, and I know we have customer service people in all different departments. I know they do different things. But if you could find ways to have those services done within the department with other staff, it could be one customer service person that calls in. It gets one person who answers the phone for everything in the city. It gets them the information they want, or gets their phone call to the department. I do think there's ways now that we can use technology and find some savings without losing service. And I think we need to start working that into our mindset July 1 this year within every department. That your department may not have the money you have this year, next year, yet we expect to provide the same service. And that's asking a lot, but if you work on it a long time, I just think we got to start early this year. We can't wait 3 months for the budget and say we need $4 million out of fund balance. Now, or we're going to cut staff, or we're going to raise taxes. It's not the ways we'd like to do it. Let's start now, prepare not to do that, and then see where we get it. But we'd have to start early. So I'd like to offer that as a way to move forward in terms of next year.
That's a great suggestion.
Well, thank you.
I'm sorry, are we moving forward? Okay,
Yes,
ma'am.
question. Joey, on the information services 450, it says for a full-time staff and of one employee, but it's been zeroed out. Is this a empty position?
Yeah, that position was eliminated due to the fact that we were outsourcing all of our IT needs to a contract.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Okay, and we were looking at garage 555, and I don't have any questions unless someone else has to put it on.
Tracy, Madam Clerk, could know, I have received a numerous outstanding amount of texts concerning this article in the paper. And according to General Statute 168-71, I'm calling an emergency meeting using my mayoral authority. I need 6 hours. So since you have a quorum here, I'm calling an emergency meeting concerning an employee matter because my phone is off the meter about what happened in the newspaper.
I have no idea what happened in the paper. I don't know what you're.
It's okay. Everybody else is texting me. It's just not good, but it's an employee matter. I'm calling an emergency meeting for an employee, for a personnel.
For when?
I need 6 hours, so you can plan the time. We have council here now, find out when they're available.
I mean, or tomorrow.
Oh, no, not tonight. No,
Okay.
Just this tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. We can get a consensus of time from everyone while we're here.
I'm available, I'm flexible.
Anytime after 11.
After 1 o'clock, anytime, flexible.
I'm talking.
After 5 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
after 5 p.m.
That's good.
Okay, so it looks like Tracy, it's, well, no, it's only one person saying after 5. Mr. Noel,
Not available.
not available. Okay, 2 or 5, 5 o'clock. Well, 5:30, I guess it gives time, people time. Thank you. That's the emergency call meeting concerning a personnel matter under the general statute. All right. Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, thank you.
That's more.
Did you have any more questions?
Oh, let's see her. She's not talking.
Okay, we're moving along, public buildings. Any questions?
All right, Council, how would you like to proceed in the budget? If there are no more questions.
We're not finished, I'm sorry, we still have questions.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I heard you say you had any more questions.
Oh, I have no more questions.
Oh, no.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
General, public buildings.
Okay.
I don't have any. Moving along. Okay, the next one is development services. 498. Joey, how many employees is development services?
Let's see,
324.
3, soon to be 4.
Okay, and is the fourth one included in this, recommended budget for next year?
Yeah.
Every 4.
Oh, see.
So that's 55 times 4. 825.
Okay.
Right there. Thank you. Joey, what is this stipend planning division? What does that entail?
The Development Services Department utilizes outside individuals who are part of land planning and other committees where they serve in that role to assist the city with various initiatives, decision making, what have you. So the city does provide a stipend for those individuals.
And if I may ask about professional services, just explain it to me. I'm sure it's definitely, there's a good cause.
Okay, professional services could capture a variety of ranges of expenses, and to include the need for attorneys that may apply for the various zoning or planning, ever how that might apply. It's there for that purpose. Any other outside professional service for consultant we've had.
And again, that's something that our attorney that would not be able to handle. Is that correct? Thank you.
Gary, when you walk out, we, status an emergency meeting for tomorrow for personnel matter at 5:30. Are you available?
Or.
Right.
Not sure.
Yeah, sure.
Not sure. I saw them coming in. I'm paying. I'll know the phone.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Joey, when you have, different departments that have different hardware and software servers. Can you explain that a little bit, because that's not, that they're not on the same system. Yes, ma'am, thank you.
The hardware and software line is usually for peripherals that might need to be addressed, whether it be a monitor, a printer, other minor level types of things that may come into need for that department. On the server basis, that's going to be handled by a contractor because those are a lot more sophisticated and integrated on a technical level that would not involve departments.
Thank you. And so our server, our routine server, that's something, well. So grass cutting and demolishing of homes.
Yeah, I think you're looking at contracted services.
Okay, contracted services.
That
Grass.
covers those types of services as needed for property initiative.
I have no questions on development services.
I do. Right. Um. With the new position, with the new position, and how much is that, salary? Top of my head.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that is in the 50s.
With the new position, never mind. I'll ask it another time.
Thank you. Like to move to Public Works Administration. How many employees is that, Joey?
You're looking at me.
Two.
Two.
Public Works Administration. Okay. I'm on page 47, and I was asking about the buildings, and I see you have for the repairs on the building for Public Works, and 30% would also come out of the water and sewer, and that's just another way how you're able to work on the cost by grabbing funds from other places. Thank you. We pay a lot of money for servers. We've got a lot of money for routine. Servers.
Contracted service.
Contract services.
Yeah, we pay a lot of money for.
That's anything from grass cutting to fixing the building. That, host a whole slew of things.
Perhaps cutting the lots in the city. Is that under that particular?
We do, yes.
How many lots do we now own when we've taken down houses that we have to cut?
I can't tell you. I don't know off the top of my head. There is a list though that is 5 pages long of property the city owns.
It's quite a amount.
Yes, sir. We had a map out earlier today. I wish I'd have brought it back with me. But we can go over that at a council meeting if y'all would like.
I have no more questions for administration. Administration of the budget. We can move to human resources. Let's see, my question is, I guess I just wanted to know what professional services. The that department. On page 8.
Right.
Okay.
There may come a time or two where that the HR department would need some legal advice, and that's primarily what that would be used for.
I'm on page 9, I was just had a question. Fiscal year for employee events. Current budget, what the manager has recommended, what does employee events?
That would be city events that would cover health fair, holiday types of incentives for staff. There are various activities for staff motivation, morale.
Has that happened in the last year? I know we've been trying. What have we done for our employees on the last year as far as any type of health fair or
Yeah.
mental health training or holiday incentives? I see the budget had 17.2 and the department requested 17.2 this year. Could you explain what that would be used for next year?
So how y'all doing, Mayor and
Hey,
Council?
hey.
So, Human Resources did health fair, brought in vendors to come in. We also did little trinkets for the staff to show their appreciation.
Okay.
Just like each department have their own special events for their time of the year or month. This year, what the city did was, or the city, HR did was, they did it throughout the whole department for every department. So donuts one day, a meal. We sort of went away from the traditional, have a big meal because a lot of people wasn't showing up because of different time. So they actually did a marvelous job of going to the sites to deliver or have a person from the department to pick up. Also little things such as the award ceremonies we have. One time we was arguing over a $50 plaque, but they get to keep the plaque there instead of rotating it around. So little trinkets such as that. Again, we are almost 200 plus, 250 plus employee, part-time is this is an opportunity for to give shirts out, recognizing what we're doing in the community so they can see it. So that was one of the items. So that was.
I don't have any more questions for human resources. Ms. Giddy? Oh, we have one question. Data services and internet, Joey, on page 9. They budgeted the actual and the budget amount was $80.75, and it was increased to 500. What was the reasoning for that?
Data services and internet, for human resources.
Yeah.
Yeah, the current budget is 500, the department request was 500, and the manager's recommended is 500.
It was increased from $80.75. Why the?
Well, $80.75 was, the actual budget from the previous year,
Mhm.
but, through the course of, internet connection and Wi-Fi fees and so forth, the overruns that take place really across the board through the course of the year, the establishment of $500 was deemed to be adequate to cover those costs.
Thank you.
Thank you. If we could move to governing body 410. Okay, I guess I'll start off with the board stipend. Current budget is 102,200. And the department requested 88,300, and the manager recommended that amount as well. Could you just tell us how you arrived at that number, Joey, to give me some clarity? Thank you.
That being a department request, it was not altered. I would defer to the clerk to weigh in on.
As far as I know, nothing was changed.
Thank you.
Nothing should be changed on that.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Okay, and so with the discretionary for Mayor's Elliott, it was in the budget for 5,000 and the department requested 5,000, the manager recommended 2,000, correct? Okay. Stipend for the council.
Stipend for the council, if I'll interject there,
Yes.
that 14,300 is restated. It's in there as requested.
That's no more questions for building and body. And Joey, as I look to the other departments, youth services, APOC, and second. As we look at recreation and parks, we could just go over that quickly because I know initially you said that because I'm not mistaken, Vance County also contributes to these funds. Could you explain that to me so I have to guess? Thank you.
Mayor, City Council. So, we have in a cooperative agreement with the, county MOU where for recreation is 55%, 45% of the total bill. So this is one of the shared thing the Councilman, Dickey was explaining earlier. Well, for ACOG, it's 50-50. With youth service, 100% them. We manage it, we oversee it. And that's basically what they are. One of the things like you mentioned earlier, Mr. Dickey, we've been working with the city attorney with is looking over their contract and make sure we get what's due to the city for that. So that's one good thing that came from the meetings with the city attorney. But I can tell you, our budget's flat except for the increase in utilities. It's always been flat for the past 4 or 5 years because of some of the fact that what I've learned at the Main Street Conference that me and Tracy went to, and a couple of the city citizens was when you produce things downtown, open spaces and parks and recreation places downtown, it draws businesses here. And that's one of the main points we tried to accomplish when we did that, the park there. So it's gonna be the focal point for a lot of things. But we got a shared use and everything. And I don't think I've ever been on the budget, all said no.
Any question, anyone?
Can I ask a question, Kendra?
Yes,
When, if we raised, I don't know, if we gave $200,000 to recreation, does county match its percentage of the increase?
for what?
If you got an increase to budget from the city?
Yeah, whatever the percentage is, and but it's also, you understand, I'm managing 3 budgets in recreation, so it's 620. Then it's ACOT Center,
Yeah.
then it's ACOT Aquatic Center, then it's youth services.
If you have a reduction, you just have to cross the board 10%, I'm just, don't know, 10% reduction. Would the county then participate as a reduction?
Yes,
And,
yes.
That's all I want to hear about figures.
And again, it's one of those situations where, again, I'll talk to my staff about what we need to settle with and what we need to accomplish. Like other departments have gaps in full-time services, and we manage those as well as possible. But whatever the 45%, traditionally the county pays with, whatever the percentage is.
Thank you.
But again, they check and tease and dot out just like we are.
It's a tough one for you too. Not just me and you.
Yes, sir.
I do have one question. Why so many cell phones?
For us.
Mhm.
So we're in a technology world. We gotta show what we're doing. At one time, when I first started, we didn't have no cell phone, but the department head and administrative assistant. Well, we wanna post things. If you notice our social media is really, really up to date, and we showing things in real time. We have, again, under the recreation, you have aquatics, swim lesson, you have, programming, senior programming, you have, Special Olympics, you have, youth programming and athletics, you have outreach, you have so many, leisure services, special events. Well, we want everybody to know what we're doing. We were trying to show what we are accomplishing in our department, and I can't do it with one cell phone with one person. But also, still, we're not just sitting in an office. We are out and about. We are in different parts of the city with different partnerships. So I want us to be able to, when we capture that moment when we're doing events, and that's the best way to do it. Any other questions?
Sir, thank you. Thank you. Now, the next departments are police. I do not have any questions. And fire. I do not have any questions. Again, when we look into other forms that are part of our expense worksheet, regional water system, the sewer, and the water fund. I trust the expertise there. Vance County Sheriff Program. It's page 98. Thank you. And I can see the budget cuts that were recommended. I don't have any questions for sheriff programs. The contributions to local agencies, page 101. The first item is the airport. So the airport does have a current budget of 33,750. The department requested that amount and the manager recommended that amount. I would like to make cuts to that, but I would like to hear from my colleagues.
Yeah. Mayor, we kind of went over that before, and my, insight into that was that, I don't feel that at this point in time that we, unless it is in a contract or, we're gonna look at the paperwork, I don't feel that we need to support that.
I would love, before we pass the budget, to have them come and speak to us and tell us what goes on at the airport, what the money's used for. And what they can tell us the importance is to us. I think I have an idea of it, but I'd like to hear it from them. I think all of us probably would benefit.
We'll put that in the session.
I wouldn't mind hearing from them as well, but I think if we cut McGregor Hall to 30,000 to 5,000, I don't see a purpose of not cutting the airport. McGregor Hall sits in the heart of our city, and I think McGregor Hall really needs that money. They came and told us exactly if they didn't get revenue, they was going to shut the place down. So I'd rather give McGregor Hall the money than to give it to the airport.
Um. I do not think that they need that money as well. I mean, I feel like there are other services, including McGregor Hall, Boys and Girls Club, and maybe some other, entities that may need it. So I would agree to cut it as well.
Okay, Joey, could I ask about the appearance commission? Even though there are no funds allocated, I'm just curious. Is that something that's supposed to make our city look pretty?
So we started 2 Saturdays ago. So
Okay,
it was part of recreation and appearance committee, when I first started. It was, governed by, the mayor's wife. The age out, we couldn't get no members when we started from day one. So they took the budget away from the committee because we couldn't find anybody for it. And again, it's just one of those situations, since it was known as being on the recreation, I took it with my part-time staff and the youth to, take on a lot of those tasks. Majority of the interest rates in the city, the signs, rehabbing of the city of Henderson, my maintenance department took over those things and maintained those. We have a couple of community people, utilize community service who have that skill, updated on weekends and things of that nature, upkeep it on the weekend. But, it was a committee that we used to oversee. It disbanded because of, attendance, following Robert's rule of order and what the council said, and just haven't been able to find anyone to take it back home.
okay, and as far as Boys and Girls Club, we increased that, department request was $750. Manager recommended $0, and I think we came to an agreement of $1,500.
That's been included.
And no more questions on contributions to local agencies. Okay, again, with our non-departmental, our debt service and our audit. I have no questions. I leave that to the professionals. And lastly, with the general fund, I have no questions. I'll leave that to the professionals. Thank you, Joey.
Let me leave council with this. You know, through the budget process, the 10 years that I've been here, this has certainly been a budget that involved the deepest cuts that I've ever imposed across the board. To make up the amount of ground that we had to do in order to not spend $1 more than $5 million. Mr. David mentioned an early start to the savings process, that's certainly going to come into play. I've shared that this budget year coming up for FY 27 will be a savings effort on steroids. I've informed the staff about a week ago that the month of June would be a total shutdown other than our normal utilities, contracted expenses, what have you, but everything else has got to go to absolutely generate as much savings as we can as we close out the year to funnel that back into fund balance. As I've stated to council during the number of budget presentations, that taking out all the travel, taking out the capital outlay is our starting point. That's what allowed us to given what we're on the hook for in terms of what we've earmarked out of fund balance. Hopefully, we can mitigate the use of that down to the most extent practical through the course of the year. Staff do know through those presentations that anything that is absolutely needed that's been cut out, their challenge is to go to their other budget lines and find that money where practical. If it turns into a situation, as I've repeated this over and over, at the end of the year, if you do have those needs that do surpass what you're able to have in a reduced budget or what you're able to transfer out of other lines, we'll figure out how that we can cover that through our collective savings that we do every year, where we put all the surpluses into our reserve line, and we'll backfill those deficiencies. There are other techniques through the budget process. As you've seen through these illustrations, the department ask may have been cut down. That's taking into account what was last year's budget. What did we actually spend? How much was left over? What is the current budget? How much do we still have on the table? Through a collection of all that data and then coming up with a reasonable budget that we could probably get by with those variables helping to guide the final number. I think that this budget is balanced as it being balanced as is. I think it's a budget that we can go into FY 27 and manage it thereafter. There are other cushions that are in there. Our benefit lines have extra percents in there that will come in handy at the end of the year when we get down to the bottom line and we need some additional funds to backfill some of these areas that may have gone over more than we expected with inflationary variables that come into play or special needs that may have cropped up or unexpected things. We've got some cushions in there that can help us get through this, but absolutely savings will be paramount. And hopefully through the course of the year, things will develop to bring more revenue through some of these big ticket items that are on the table. Hopefully they can come on board as soon as possible, and maybe there's some caveats to help us get through some of those gaps. So I'll leave you with the FY 27 budget balanced as is. If there are adjustments, as you say, from the reduction to the airport, the increase to McGregor Hall, we'll work that out before we get to the June regular council meeting for adoption. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do we have, I'm sorry, I have no question. I just want to know if we are on the current hiring freeze.
As I mentioned before, there are positions that we have frozen and we have filled, mainly they're supervisor positions. There are some part-time staff for ACOT recreation, seasonal, that we are filling those. But that's about where we are at this time.
And are they contributed to the budget positions?
Well, they do because they're a payroll expense, but ACOT has the somewhat unique position of being also the has the ability to collect fees and revenue that helps to offset some of it.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, may I please make a comment?
Sure.
Thank you so much. Helpful Joey, our finance director and our city manager, as I've stated before, thank you so much for your efforts in just giving us a budget that, although not ideal, meets the city where we're at right now financially. I think I echo the sentiments of my colleagues, but I will only speak personally for myself. One of the biggest things that we should strive for is going back to good governance, and that's not a comment on this council, rather as a city. We need to go back to an environment that fosters stability, and I really love that word, and I hope and pray that we can protect that stability so that we can create and foster an environment where development and growth want to come. So thank you so much for your hard work.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
Motion by Councilmember Venable, second by Councilwoman Chapman. Have a good night.